Peace. This is King over Black Supremacy. And I want to talk a little bit about Umar Johnson's school that he's raising money for. Just a little bit. I haven't heard too much about the project. But what I have heard is that he's setting up a school with an alternative curriculum for black children. I want to say, look, we don't need no more goddamn schools. We need to do something that we haven't done before. We need to do something new. We got a lot of alternative schools. I know a lot of them, and I don't even got to even mention the name. I've been in them. I've seen them. We don't need no more alternative schools, especially in America. If you're going to set up an alternative school, you need to go set it up in another country, not America. Go set it up in Africa, where you're not under the jurisdiction and the regulations of the white man. Because the black man in America is under the jurisdiction and regulations of what the white man will allow him to do in America, and this is a fact. So until we can change that dynamic, there's really no alternative. The idea of an alternative is an illusion, because you still have to go by the standards of what the white man has set up. His test scores, his accreditation, all that shit, which works for white supremacy. And Umar Johnson knows that because he's a psychologist that works for them, and he always parades his accreditation under the institutions of white supremacy. This is a fact. So there are no real alternative schools or charter schools doing something else in America. They're all abiding by the common code and customs of white supremacy. And to show how effective they are at making the children comply to the rules, standards, and regulations of white supremacy like every other school. Matter of fact, some of these schools, show that they can accelerate the child's learning and accelerate his process of conforming, complying, or assimilating to the rules and regulations of white supremacy. That's what these alternative schools are doing. So we don't need another alternative school in America. Our only alternative in America is revolution. Because until there's a revolution, then we can't even put an alternative on the table because we're that knee-deep in the quicksand of white supremacy. It's that urgent of a situation. It's that immediate of a situation where we can't even put nothing on the table. He right in our face telling us what we can and can't do, and you got to do this and go through that. He's right. He won't even give us fucking breathing room. So in order to get that breathing room, what you need to do with the youth is train them in urban guerrilla warfare. Children need to be trained in guerrilla warfare. They don't need to know who Marcus Garvey was. Of course, revolution needs context, and they're going to get some education. But all this historical knowledge, archaeological and anthropological logic is not saving us. It hasn't done nothing for us. Our children need guerrilla warfare because that's what causes revolutions. It's going to bother some people. So I would be very proud and happy to know that Umar Johnson was taking young black boys into a type of setting where they could be trained in a type of guerrilla warfare that could overthrow the institutions of white supremacy that prevent us from building our own societies, establishing our own community and our own sovereignty, our own independence and separation from white supremacy, to get ourselves from under the oppression of his society. I would be proud to know that Umar Johnson was setting up something like that.